Hi everyone, welcome to Le Mans 1990. We're here for probably the greatest qualifying lap of all time. Everyone's heard of Senna's Monaco qualifying lap, or Lap of the Gods by Greg Murphy in the V8 Supercars from many years ago, but this lap by a very young Mark Blundell, who of course went on to have fame in F1 and IndyCar. This lap probably takes the cake. He was driving the Nissan R90 CK, an absolutely mental car from the late 80s, early 90s, but comically unreliable. So the Japanese brought the car here to contest the great race. 800 horsepower and a 900 kilo car, but many issues. Most notable of which was the gearbox, just failed all the time, and his biggest issue was probably its turbo, constantly over boosting and producing way more horsepower than was safe or was allowed by the Japanese engineer. So by the time the guys got to the race, the two drivers had very limited running. They basically, throughout the practice sessions, would leave the pits, they get around the lap, and then the engineers come on the radio, pull them back in because the car was just over boosting itself to extreme limits. So by the time qualifying came around, the guys had no running, like I said. The drivers tossed the coin to see who would start the race and who would qualify, and Blundell got, whichever way you look at it, the short end of the straw, or in his case he became a hero, and he was able to qualify the car. So they ran the car very late in the day during qualifying. They didn't want to run it in the middle of the day, again just because of the heat. And if you watch the onboard footage, which I'll link in the description below, it's a mental bit of television to see him control that car, wheel spinning in fourth gear, only has 5 gears. The cameras are shaking, the audio is breaking up, just because of the violentness of what's going on inside the cockpit. And it's just an amazing bit of footage to watch. Great car control from what was then a very young man. So much so that at the end of the lap, he was 6 seconds ahead of his nearest competitor, which to this day is still a record for Le Mans qualifying. Now, I believe at the time he was the youngest person to be on pole as well, and was the Japanese manufacturer's first time taking pole at Le Mans as well. So I think when he got back to the garage, the European side of the garage were very happy and boisterous. The Japanese side not so much, because he had disobeyed the direct orders from the team to not take the car out. But I'm sure they were quite happy as well. They did grab pole, and inevitably during the race, like he predicted, the car broke down on lap 146 with a gearbox failure, which was to be expected because the car really was just a qualifying beast. And it was so mental, in fact, that he had to run the hard tyres during qualifying, as they did not believe the soft tyres would last the lap. He reckons, that's Blundell reckons, he would have gone 3 seconds faster had he been able to use the soft tyres. So just shows you how mad the car was. It was producing, they think, depending on what story you read, somewhere between 1100 and 1300 horsepower, in a car that's supposed to produce 800. So it gives you an idea of, and when you watch the onboard, you understand how good the lap is when you see his level of car control in a car that just wasn't designed to have that much power going through it. And of course, we're using I found an older layout of Le Mans, the 1991 layout this year, so same as what would have been used the year before. There's huge changes for the track this year, because the previous year several competitors had cracked 400 kph down the Mulsanne straight. The FIA was not happy with that. The FIA, that is, had actually mandated a new rule that they would not sanction any circuits that had a straight longer than 2 kilometers, and obviously Mulsanne well and truly went over that. So, which is why they had to install the 2 chicanes that are now iconic. The Dunlop bridge there obviously is different as well, a much shallower entrance and a little bit quicker through the Dunlop chicane than what it is these days. Tetra Rouge as well, slightly different. I've also modified the mod, thanks to SPR Sim Racer for helping me with that, unpacking the data and changing a few things. So we now are producing, I think, 1104 horsepower, and we've also modified the gear ratio. The car was maxing out standard at 342 kph. We're now hitting about 380, which is what Blundell was hitting. Even with the 2 new chicanes installed this year, yeah, he was still getting up near 240 mile an hour. So just incredible speeds from this thing. and Blundell does call it the greatest lap of his life, and just because of all the circumstances around it, you can certainly understand why. To be able to jump in a car like this and do a lap with basically literally no warm-up and no data to gather during the week was just incredible. I was also able to replicate the flipping Mercedes as well from 1999 up here. The road does crest nicely, so I was able to set a Mercedes CLR up to flip just here, but we'll just get off the throttle there in this car so we don't get too much air. Just such fun to drive these old cars. So I'll try and link the track as well as the mod. So we're nowhere near Blundell's time. We're still way off. Coming to Indianapolis, definitely a little bit reprofiled, a little bit tighter, not as much runoff here. As the sun starts to set. Such a difficult corner, this one. It just catches everybody out. So do yourself a favour, definitely check out the onboard footage of this. It's just fantastic. Porsche curves a little bit different profile of what they are these days. Fighting the turbo the whole way around. Come up towards the forward chicanes. And across the line, as they say. Alright, 3:32. Thanks for watching, guys. So check out the original lap from Mark Blundell. Absolutely fantastic. I will link the car and the track in the description below so you can also have a crack yourself. Thanks for watching. Take care.